Alright, I'm going to try to do this as quickly as possible. You guys are pros at this, so I'm just going to walk through this very quick and kind of sloppy, just because I'm running short on time right now. So first thing, I'm going to review the steps here that we want to accomplish. First is blemish removal. So I'm just going to refer to this for the next step after we're done with that. So first thing you want to do is duplicate your layer so you have the original there we can compare, and then we're going to go ahead and use the blemish removal tools here. This is the spot healing brush tool. Go ahead and zoom in here, and you can take your time and remove as many blemishes as you want, and I'm just going to pick some stuff. Now, some of these are moles and things that are natural, but we're just going to call those blemishes right now. In class we also talked about how you can use this tool to remove stray hairs. So over here, if you wanted to remove some stray hairs that were distracting, you can use this tool to remove stray hairs as well. Or like these, I think it was over here on the neck. Remove some of these. So just play around with the tool, just show me that you know how to use it to remove some blemishes or some distracting things. So that's the first step, blemish removal. Alright, next. Dodge tool to add artificial light and color to eyes. So this tool is found right here. The dodge tool adds artificial light. So it's sort of like it brightens things, but in a way that looks more natural. And then the burn tool is the opposite of that. That adds shadow. And we'll use that in future lessons, but today we're going to just use the dodge tool. Actually, so the dodge tool we used, I think, under the eyes here. Let's do that. So the settings for this are like a brush setting. So you have size and hardness. I'm going to turn down the hardness so the edge is not really harsh. So there's a little bit of a fuzzy edge to it. And then I'm going to increase the size to fill in this area here. We're going to try to lighten this area. And I'm going to reduce the size just a little bit, so about that large. And then the exposure is the amount per brush stroke that is applied. So I'm going to try it here and see what happens. So that doesn't give me a lot of grace to play around with it. It's already a very drastic change. So I'm going to undo those and reduce the exposure to about 20%. This will allow me to do multiple brush strokes to achieve the desired effect. So if I want more brightness, I would do multiple brush strokes. I'm just trying to remove the darkness under the eyes a little bit. So here's the before and the after. So that might still be a little too much. So let me undo. See if we can undo that. And maybe even reduce the exposure more to like 10%. So you can really like build up brush strokes to blend it in a little bit more. So I'm just taking away some darkness under the eye just a little bit. So let me go ahead and do before and after. There we go. We're going to use this tool, but in a the sponge tool mode. So the sponge tool allows you to either saturate or desaturate with a brush tool. So again, I'm going to turn the flow down and maybe turn the hardness down a little bit. And then I'm going to be painting around the iris to bring out some color. That's the goal in using this tool. So saturation is the amount of color. So this is going to allow us to build up some more color. So as I'm doing brush strokes, you can see the colors coming out. So you don't want to go too far to where it looks completely fake. Just bringing out the color. And then try to do the other eye the same. And then hide the before and after. You can also zoom out just to see if your changes are good or just too much. Alright, so moving on, the next thing we did, so we used the dodge tool to add our artificial light under the eyes and add color to the eyes. Now we're going to use hue saturation to remove yellow in the teeth, and a hue saturation adjustment layer to add more red to the lips. So a similar concept, but we're doing it in two different areas. So I'm going to use the lasso tool just because it's the quickest tool to use. And I'm going to grab the teeth here. This doesn't have to be super accurate because we're going to be focused on the yellow color. And I want to add a little bit more, so I'm going to unite and make sure that I selected all of the teeth here. Alright. That's close enough. Now the adjustment layers would typically be up here in Photoshop, but there's a button for them down here in this program. So I click on here and we're looking for hue saturation. It's only going to apply it to that white area that we have selected. And we want to change from the master, so I don't want to decrease all of the colors. I'm actually going to increase, so you can see. I don't want to increase this or decrease the saturation of all the colors. So I'm going to undo that. I can't undo the setting. Let me go back to 0 then. So I don't want to change the master, I want to change to yellow. I'm going to increase the saturation just to show you what we're trying to get rid of. So here are the yellow tones that we have identified, and what we're going to do is just desaturate those. Now we're done with that section. I'm going to deselect and then view the before and after. So turn off this adjustment layer to see before and after. Okay, and then we're going to zoom out. And oh, actually we're going to focus on the lips next. So in this tutorial I showed you the class how to use the quick select option, the quick mask mode. So in this, you need to have the default color scheme, and you need to be on a brush tool for this to work. And I'm just going to use this to color in the lips. So anything that is red is actually not going to be part of the selection. I'll show you that in a minute. Kind of doing this quickly. So just pretend like you're putting on lipstick. trying to avoid the gums. See if we can increase the size here. Oh yeah, that works. Alright, once you get the lips painted, I'm doing a really sloppy job, but you get the idea. If I turn this tool off, so I get out of quick mask mode, I will have a selection. And it's actually the opposite of what I want. If I zoom out, I can see that. Actually, everything except for the lips are selected. So I want to invert this selection. And now I want to apply another hue saturation layer. So now I have the lips, and I'm going to focus on the reds. And I'm going to increase the saturation. So you don't want to go too far. Actually, let me deselect so you can see a little bit more what we're doing here. So I don't want to go too far. So I'm just going to just bump it up just a little bit. And I can see my before and after. Alright, so I gotta pause here, so I'm gonna have to end this video and add another video later.